So what happens if there's a total nuclear exchange? Well, we're going to go over that in 4 phases. Phase 1, detonation. So there are approximately 5,000 nuclear warheads out there, and if everybody hits the panic button at the same exact time, well, they're going to be sending them, and where they're going to be sending them is going to wipe everything out all at once. So the first places that are going to get hit are major cities. Then they're going to take out military bases, they're going to take out ports, dams, anything to do with power, it'll all be wiped out at the same exact time. A fun little side note is the electromagnetic pulses that come off of nuclear detonations. This in itself will completely wipe out all electronics within the region. Air travel is no longer a thing. Not only that, but traveling inside of cities in a vehicle is not going to happen. The congestion from the mass panic is just going to absolutely obliterate this. People will be parking their cars and running. You just won't be able to drive anywhere. But digital networks will go completely dark. Facebook, Instagram, anything to do with being online is going to go down. There won't be any power for any of these things, for one. And on top of that, governments vanish. Yes, I mean, there is absolutely no way for a government to control the population because there is no way to communicate with them. So within minutes, the government is just out. Phase 2 is fallout and fire, and at this point, we're down approximately 2 billion people. That's mostly from the vaporization and the cities collapsing, buildings collapsing, and all that from the first phase. Now, at this point, the death toll is going to raise to around 4 billion because you got the fallout clouds that are going to be sweeping across continents, which is going to absolutely decimate populations. It's going to cause it in a really bad way. Then you got the fires in the major cities that are going to be releasing all kinds of toxic chemicals, smoke, ash, all that. You're breathing it all in and you try to go to a hospital. Well, guess what? There's no more hospitals. Well, you have to have nurses and doctors to man these places, but even if they are fully staffed for some weird reason, they are going to be completely overrun by people. You will not be able to get medical help at this point in time. Now, phase 2 is when lawless zones start appearing. You're going to have people looting, rampaging, just doing whatever they need to do to survive, and it's whenever bad people realize there isn't any more police to protect them, so they're going to do whatever they want, and they're going to take whatever they want. You kind of need to defend yourself pretty hardcore at this point if the radiation poison isn't getting you. And as fun as that sounds, that leads us to phase 3. Remember all them fires we was talking about? Yeah, that's going to cause a nuclear winter. With the fires producing around 150 million tons of soot that is going straight into the upper atmosphere, well, that's going to block out the sun, and whenever that happens, it's going to instantly lower the temperature globally, around 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So what's this going to do to your crops? Like you can imagine, crops are going to immediately start failing. One, from the shock. Two, you just ain't going to have enough sunlight to grow anything. You would have to go to the equator to get enough sunlight to even think about growing stuff. So like I said, massive crop failures, corn, rice, wheat, all of it's gone. And you're thinking to yourself, well, Jake, I'll just go out and start fishing. Well, that's a good idea, except for that sudden temperature change is really going to screw with fish and probably kill off a lot of them. So there's not going to be a whole lot of fishing left for a lot of people. And with that being said, famine globally will start and won't be ending anytime soon. The global climate disruption with this would be like entering something worse than the Ice Age, even in the tropical zones. And that brings our death toll up to around 7 billion. Now, at this point in time, we have around 8 billion people. So that makes you think, well, we got a few to spare. No, we're running pretty thin. It's more like 7.5 billion will be wiped out. And you're like, yes, I made it to phase 4. There's approximately 250 million of us, 500 million of us. We're going to rebuild. No, you ain't, because it gets even worse. Now, at this point, the survivors are just praying that the nuclear fallout just completely goes away, but it still lingers around, and it's going to keep lingering around, which is going to poison the waterways and the soil even more. From what's already happened, this is going to lead to even more loss of life because the aquatic creatures, land creatures, it doesn't matter. Plants, it's all going to have a hard time from the fallout. At this point, there will be no more antibiotics. There won't be any sort of medication. There won't be fuel. You won't have any good source of transportation. It will all be localized on foot. And this is where you're either going to be involved with a warlord or a survivalist group, because you will have to have a community of people just to try and grow enough food to keep everybody alive. There's nothing left to scavenge. It will all be gone at this point. So let's just hope this hypothetical situation never arises, and the chances of it arising is very low because this is total annihilation. At this point, whenever the elites decide to finally come out of their bunkers, well, they're going to come out to a whole lot of nothing. And whenever they think that they're top dog, they won't be. But the warlords will get pretty cool bunkers whenever they find them. Anyways, I thought this was a fun little hypothetical situation to come up with, considering everything that's going on right now. But like I said, it is very hypothetical, and the chances are almost zero. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. You can consider following me or liking if you would like. Okay, bye.